Hello, my name's Tim Burbage. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads. And today I'm going to do a book review for Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. So this was my mystery book for August. And this is due to, the reason why this was August's mystery book was because it was P.L. Travers was born the 9th of August, 1899. So her birthday was 1 year and 89 years, 1 day and 89 years before mine. So Mary Poppins is this book came out in, when did it come out? 1934. It was first published in Great Britain. It was a favourite of Walt Disney, reading it to his children, and Walt Disney was desperate for the film rights, and he waited a very, very long time to get them from P.L. Travers. She did not want to give them to Walt Disney. Then, when Walt Disney had in mind the perfect casting for Mary Poppins being Julie Andrews, but Julie Andrews was looking to have a family, and she was like, I can't do this role because I'm pregnant, and Walt Disney said, we'll wait. So he waited longer. And then the film came out in the late 60s, and it was incredible. It won Oscars, and then we had a new film that came out in the 2010s called Mary Poppins Returns, starring Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins in this situation. Now, this isn't the only Mary Poppins books. There are lots of them. Let's see if I can find, is there a list in here? I don't know if there is. So you've got Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins comes back. Mary Poppins opens the door. Mary Poppins in the park. Mary Poppins in Cherry Tree Lane. And Mary Poppins in the house next door. So there's 6 total books. And I believe that the first film took aspects from several books and put them into the film. So there are things in here that aren't in the films, and there are things in the films that aren't in here. Now with that kind of out of the way, first of all, I'm like 3 minutes into the video, Tim. What are you doing? I love Mary Poppins from 1967. I think it was 1967. I think it is magic on screen. Some of the effects are incredible. I've seen the VFX artists react to the penguin scene where they have a crystal to split the camera, and the crystal is the only one of that kind. It was incredible filmmaking, and I think the songs are brilliant. My wife has got a different view on it. She grew up watching like a shortened version on video, like recorded off the TV or something. So when she watched it later, she was like, wait, where did this song come from? What? This film is so long. I think one thing that really helps Mary Poppins stay in the public consciousness is the quality of the songs by the Sherman Brothers. Feed the Birds was famously Walt Disney's favourite song, and he would ask the Sherman Brothers to play it on the piano in his office. We went to Walt Disney's office. We saw the piano. Our tour guide said that when she was doing a tour there and they actually had Richard Sherman come in and play the piano, and she was next door and she cried hearing him play that piano, playing Feed the Birds on that piano. But generally the songs are incredible from the film. You have A Spoonful of Sugar, you have Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, you've got Step in Time with the chimney sweeps, like It's a Jolly Holiday. Just the songs are brilliant, and I think that kind of helps keep the film in your mind. Anyway, but this is about the book. I'm 4 minutes in and I haven't even spoken about the book yet. Maybe that's because I didn't really like it. When Jane and Michael Banks draw up an advertisement for a nanny, Mary Poppins arrives on a gust of the east winds and slides up the banister, changing their lives forever. Their wonderful new nanny is strict but fair and full of surprises. Soon the Banks children are whisked off on the most exciting and magical adventures they've ever had. But Mary Poppins has only promised to stay until the wind changes. Strict but fair. Mary Poppins is really, really mean in this. And not in a, like... So there's something that happens in the films where the kids go on a magical adventure and they say, wow, wasn't that incredible when all that crazy stuff happened? and an adult is there, and Mary Poppins like, oh no, of course that didn't happen, children. Don't be silly. That's impossible. And in my mind, it might be Julie Andrews and Emily Blunt's performance, but there is like a wink to the kids to say, I have to say that none of this stuff really happened because there's a grown-up here. But we both know that it did. In this, there's no adults asking the questions. She just gaslights the kids. She's like, no, that didn't happen at all. That didn't happen in any way. I don't even know what you're talking about. And another thing that she does a lot, it happens 4 or 5, if not more times, is she gets distracted by herself in her reflection and goes, oh my goodness, don't I just look amazing? And it happens once in the film where Julie Andrews sings and her reflection sings back and she's like, show off and all that kind of stuff. And she measures herself and she's practically perfect in every way. But in this, it happens a lot. She just gets distracted by her own beauty. She's very self-centered and she sniffs a lot and is very, very abrupt with the kids. And it's not like, oh, she's really charming and funny and then she's a bit abrupt. She's just mean. She's just mean to the kids. And a lot of the time she goes on these adventures and she doesn't really want to go on them. Or the adventure happens despite her best efforts. Or at one point, she just goes off without them. So, yeah, there's 12 chapters. First chapter is kind of her arriving. Then you have The Day Out, which I think is when she goes out with Bert and does It's a Jolly Holiday, basically. And she does it without the kids. She just goes without the kids. Chapter 2, she's already left the kids. Like, chapter 3 is the laughing gas, which is when they're all laughing at the ceiling. And again, in the film, she's like, come on, you really ought to come down. And then she goes up and is like, oh, this is all fun, but come on, we've got to go. In the book, she's like, no, get down now. None of this fun. I don't do any of this fun stuff. What are you doing? Sort it out. Get down now. You know, with a sniff. She sniffs a lot. Then there's a chapter about the neighbour's dog has his own chapter. Then there's a chapter about where Mary Poppins tells a story about a dancing cow. Then there's a chapter where one of the kids is naughty and Mary Poppins is very mean to them because they're naughty. Then you've got the bird woman, which is only 6 pages and is probably the peak of the book because it's very similar to the film and it's... then there's a bit about Christmas shopping. I can't really remember the rest of it. But I didn't enjoy it. I don't mind reading... I don't mind reading children's fiction. I really enjoy reading children's fiction. I love reading to my kids. I didn't read this to the kids, and I wouldn't necessarily want to. Maybe if I did, they'd kind of see the magic in it a bit more. But I didn't see the magic in this. I don't think it was well enough described that you could tell how magical it was. I felt like the film got that magic, probably because it's a visual medium, but the film got that magic expressed in a much more vivid way. Mary Poppins was just mean. I didn't enjoy reading her be mean to the kids. Oh yeah, there's also, sorry, I was just reading the chapters. There's a chapter where, because there's Jane and Michael, but there's also 2 babies. So there's a chapter about how the babies are, up until their first birthday, babies can speak to the wind and to wildlife and birds. Then as soon as they hit 1, they lose the ability to. So there's a chapter about them kind of going, no, I won't forget how to talk to the blackbird. The jackdaw, I think it is. And then they hit 1 and the jackdaw comes over and the babies don't understand them anymore. There's an episode called Full Moon. I don't know what that one's about. I can't remember. But, yeah, I've just felt, oh, that's it. So Full Moon is when it's Mary Poppins' birthday and the kids wake up in the middle of the night and go to the zoo and all the animals are out the zoo and humans are in the cages and Mary Poppins is there having dinner with a hamadryad. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing some kind of mythical creature, and a snake. And she's like, oh, this is my first cousin once removed. And then they go Christmas shopping, and then she leaves. Like, all of the events are completely non-sequential. They don't connect to each other at all. The kids are actually not in it very much. If they are, they're cardboard cutouts. Mary Poppins is a cardboard cutout, but she does a handful of things a few times, so you think that's character. She sniffs, she's mean, she looks at herself in the reflection of the mirror or a window, she's got new gloves, they're so nice. Not for me. I think maybe also impacted by, I've seen Saving Mr. Banks starring Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson, and P.L. Travers was not a nice person. And that's, you could be like, oh, that's a film made by the Walt Disney Company. Of course they're not going to put Walt Disney in a bad light. They're going to put this other person in a bad light. I've also read, I saw a documentary about P.L. Travers where she was obsessed with astrology, and she went to, there were a pair of twins born? Come on, Tim. There were a pair of twins born, and her astrologist told her to only adopt one. So she only adopted one of the twins and left the other at the home orphanage, and didn't tell her son that he was a twin. And he found out when he was way older, not kind of in the laws today where they could find out when they're 18, but way, way, way older. I think maybe even after she'd passed away or something. So there's kind of made up my mind that she wasn't a great person. And Mary Poppins isn't a great person in the books. So I'm pleased that I've read it because I could tick it off. I don't think I'm going to ever read anything about this again. So for me, it was 2 stars, I think. The only reason I didn't give it 1 star was, one, I finished it. I finished it in a day. Very easy to read, very light to read. And also, you still had the bits with the magic, and that was okay. But yeah, 2 stars from me. Not a spoonful of sugar. Help this go down. Anyway, if you read them any more, please comment below. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out of my house!